welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are once again ready to go live after that server start, the little restart we needed in there. And hopefully, back from his transition into Optimus Prime, is Matrim joining me for this one.
Hey, am I a robot yet?
No, you're good. I don't know whether it was you or me. I don't know what was going on there, but it definitely went robotic. But we knew we both had to restart anyway. Let's talk about this. It's Group 1 we're covering here, isn't it, of the North American side. And I was looking at the teams. There's so many big teams in this game already.
Just on this one lobby, there are so many squads that really have a chance to make it out of the entirety of the qualifier and be one of the top 4. It's really surprising to see all of them all compacted together like this. It's going to make this, you know how earlier we talked about it with Kingwin, there was a group of death. Well, it looks like we've got a North American group of death this time around, and it's going to be Lobby 1.
Yeah, I mean, let's just quickly rattle through a few of the teams I know of. Gambino, Cornshuckers, Envious, Set to Destroy, Nova in there, Roger in there. Holy moly! This is the group. Is it Group 14 we had yesterday in Europe that had crazy amounts? This is the same all over again.
One of the other squads to keep an eye on as well is DNA Esports. They did very well yesterday. They actually got second inside of their group, and most of them actually tend to play very high and get pretty far in the competitive ladder. So it's really nice to see them coming in and playing in a competitive game. But here we go. We've got our airplane up and active. Going to be going right over Ferry Pier to the south. Going to be pushing its way up towards the north, probably next to Severny. So pretty much just about everything you could want, again, on the table for this. A lot of people jumping out early, making the push over towards military base. Going to be interesting to see now, since we had that first drop, everybody kind of got a feel for everybody drops that and says, okay, let's see if we learned anything off of that. Got a kind of a free learning session on the early game with the restart.
So, big spread. Let's have a look. This is a good flight over. Sosnovka, of course, going to go in there. Caden. Okay, there's Caden. There, looks so. So it's going to be South Georgia Pole most likely for Envious. As we follow on to the north. Nova just coming out there. They're going to go north, Georgie? Oh, no, are they going to swing it?
Well,
change in direction, I think.
How some squads specifically drop certain places. Well, Envy always goes South George. That's kind of their thing. And they will fight you if you go there. It's coming out and saying, everybody dropping down now. Saw a very hard push coming out towards the eastern side. Looks like we could be seeing a couple squads dropping into Pachinki itself, as it looks like we see Cool Breeze at Shepherd. Two different squads. One of them's going to hold up in that northern area, and another one's going to move to the southern one. Look at all of the squads that are pushing east along that southern road. So many people are pushing out through there, and there's not a lot of loot to be had in that area. Everybody's got to be looking for vehicles, and they have to get out of there as quick as possible, or maybe just run some people over as they're looking for vehicles.
People say in Skype, why are people using Skype? Honestly, I hate Skype myself. I don't use it. We use Discord. Let's just get that out there. Let's just get that knocked out to dead. I'm forced to use Skype by my North American comrades in the company who still use it for some reason. But I'm going to put that out there. So don't. Yeah, exactly. They're hacking on me. They're hacking on me. And the North American qualified Brits doing it. It's North America making me use bloody Skype. Microsoft trying to force it down my throat. Let's look at that circle. There's nobody in it. There's all the long droppers. They're sitting pretty right now, but it is a actually, I wouldn't say the same circle, but similar sort of area. It's still over to that southeast corner,
but not as harsh. Last time we saw a really hard eastern circle.
Hopefully less water.
Yeah, it looks like it has a lot less water in it this time around. We already have several squads that are positioned up inside of it, and Rogue actually getting this kick started off. Looks like Chronix is going to be picking up first blood.
So first blood, Chronix, not too bad. There's quite, there's that 2 squads in Pachinki I see there. Really weird drops actually. I guess because the plane was so far over to the west, it's kind of forced people to drop. Nobody's gone for the long swing. It's more a case of vehicle drop and go. Ironically, this restart with the red zones in there, this has actually benefited Nova quite a lot because they were in a really sticky situation.
It looks like they were having a little bit of a trouble there. And now we're actually going to look out and see what's going off to the different angles. See that Chronix, this is where we saw the death coming out earlier, so very solid push coming out of him. I think it's just part of that trash looting strategy that we were talking about beforehand. Different angles. Everybody kind of meets up with each other whenever you encounter these one-on-one fights, and just a matter of who picks it up first. And looks like Chronix did manage to get first blood off of it, but too early to really get any loot out of it.
So, okay, we've got Apocalypse in there. Yasnaya single team in there. Nobody up in Starboard, nobody up in Severny. We'll see where everybody else is going. Vexel, where is he? He's down on the coast. South of Milter, actually, or Milter Power, I guess you could say. It's a case of spotting where people are going here. Tefue, okay, Saltek and Tefue. So Rogue, Milta Power again. They appear to be the only team there. Yeah, look at that. They're circling it right now. The rest of his team are over here. That's not where they are, but they was circling it. They circled the rest of the team, and then they showed me something different. Okay, but the rest of the team were in Rozhok, as far as I could tell.
Well, it should be noted that with these Pachinki fights, you can see that everybody's kind of pushing in. They're making these line of demarcation kind of points. So with this, not everybody's really getting a chance to loot as much as they could possibly want to inside of Pachinki. So both these squads are going to end up with a decent amount of loot, but not as much as they want. And nobody's really wanting to take a risk on taking a firefight this early in it, because naturally everybody is playing again for those points. Kills do matter a lot, but you don't want to take a lot of casualties early like what we saw happen with Novo that last time. So be really cautious in these first rounds. We talked about it beforehand. Everybody tends to play very cautious in the first round, gets a little bit more comfortable in the second round. And remember, there are a lot of really strong squads in here, so when you see somebody else, you don't know exactly who it is, so these squads are going to lean into a lot of safety.
Yeah, especially in this first round of the semi-finals, or I don't know whether we can call them semi-finals. We'll just say Group 1 Round 2, because that's what it's named as, but it is effectively a semi-final because the next round is the finals. Top 5, remember, we'll go through. This is a best of 3 as they work it out. Caden from Envious, you talked about them. There they are, South Georgia Polo off to the left-hand side. Caden in the crates at the moment. North Georgia Polo is a squad up there. Yellow Bus TV, I can see, and a couple of his teammates. They look like they have the entire north to themselves and south, so it's a very much north-south divide, but it's all very pleasant.
But look at this. We're seeing near on no one on the eastern side of this. We got Apocalypse now that actually got in vehicles and they pushed over towards Lippo, but there's so much dead zone out and around right now. And here we go. Looks like we're seeing everybody start to do the little bit of pull away that in Pachinki. This is pretty much to be expected. Nobody was really going to do too hard of aggression here, so they might go their separate ways. I think that they're just trying to secure some vehicles. We did see that Inferno's team did pick up one a second ago and pulled it back over next to them, but I think it was just a motorcycle, so it's going to be kind of hard to pull apart from these two. But Shepard PC, and you can see that X-Revox is kind of looking off in different directions, but they're all kind of pulling back to areas that they've already looted, so this is usually your telltale sign that, hey, okay, we don't want to have any part of this fight.
Rogue got themselves set up down in Milta Power. Aladdin's joined them as well, along with Tefue and Soltec now. So just missing one more member down there. Nova have made the way across. They were in Rozhok. I can see Locknarb, the scout, as always. Looks like he's heading across. Now, nobody's been... It looks like he's going to go... Is he going to go for that complex? It's pretty central. May well go for it. We're going to follow Bronopoly, Godspeed, and Kasuko in the UAZ, blasting across.
This is DNA Esports that we were talking about beforehand. Hasn't played a lot of events, but definitely known for having very high standings inside of the leaderboards. Interesting to see how they're going to adapt and play in a high-level competitive strategy area. I mean, Godspeed's actually one of the casters as well, so yeah, naturally he can't do too much playing because he does a lot of casting inside of it. So interesting to see how this team is going to perform. But again, got second in their lobby last time, so really coming in very strong. Now, coming over here, and we can see that Novo, we got some people approaching over there. Looks like Donnie Debonair is coming through. Apocalypse now and Drunken Noodle still holding down Lippo itself. Kind of curious to where the rest of their squad is. I don't think that they're over here with them.
I think they are. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing on the map there was 4 members of them there. So Lipovka covered out. They're inside the circle, I believe, at the moment. It's a pretty wide circle. There was a couple of squads already moving across. We saw Nova. They're moving. I think Envious are still over there, so still yet to secure the vehicle. That's a lie. I can see Czech Shooter's moving. So Czech Shooter's going to be the scout, it looks like, for Envious. He's going to go into Student, maybe. Apocalypse now. Big scope on him there on the Mini 14. Keeping an eye on the boat that just went up there, Donnie Debonair and co. So they're going up onto the cliffs.
I really like where Donnie Debonair's team is going to reposition at. It's a very strong point inside the map. You have a lot of high ground positioning that you can look out through. And also, there's a lot of cover up and over here. Now, they haven't had a chance to loot, though, as we're coming over here with Donnie Debonair himself. Doesn't even have a helmet or any armor. So they're really going to have to make what do they can out of all the trash loot up there. There are several different buildings that they can get something out of, but it's not necessarily going to be prime loot.
Well, Nova, as you can see, Locknarby was on his own at the moment, taking shots. Where's he hitting across to? That's the long-range shots, not really landing anything.
Taking some shots over towards, it looks like I'm Your Friend guy, I guess, who's also playing with I'm Not Your Guy Friend, not Your Guy Bub. So
And a
couple
silly
of shots coming
fool.
out. Yeah, there we go. Silly Fool and Swirls. So we're coming back over here now. It looks like we're seeing Rivux and his team. They did manage to push out of Pachinki. Remember, they were the squads over there. But now coming up next to Lush, we're seeing a lot of these solo players encountering four-man squads. A couple of bullets coming out from Lush really scaring off that squad. They're like, oh, okay, that's a little bit too much damage. Maybe we don't want to go that way.
Yes, Fergus took a big hit there. Is that Lush that hit him? Lush is on his own at the moment. He's, I'm assuming, I'm going to say learn to play, LTP. I don't know what they're actually named as.
Most people just call him Lush, but yes, I do believe it's learn to play Lush.
Yeah, so Lush is...
Which is an interesting
It's
name.
actually forced them away. Is he on his own?
Right now he is, yeah. He's kind of got that whole area.
He's just forced them away from that complex on his own. That's pretty manly.
Lush does have very solid aim, and he can scare quite a few people off. We do see that all of our squads over to the east or the western side are starting to make their way over to the east. D-Master's got a little bit of control over here, and we talked about this area earlier with the Nova fight that was happening. See, the Painkiller's kind of got himself into the same situation, as Smurf does have control over this building again. I believe this was the same squad. It was Swin and Smurf that were on top of it, really doing a lot of damage and holding Nova back there. DM Master, is he going to take shots? That's his teammate, so better not do. I was just thinking, hang on a minute, that's the same colour. Don't want to take shots on your teammate. Well, or maybe you could. Velen obviously got run over a couple of times by Weko earlier on, so, you know, these things happen. These things happen. Squads basically position themselves at the moment. 78 still alive, just those couple of early kills, and everybody wants to be very cautious, get themselves a decent position, not go too crazy aggressive in this first round. Oh, look at that bridge. Envy is pushing across the bridge. Remember, there is a bridge camp just to the north of this, so we do have some bullets that are coming out for it. Look at that, having to run right by Painkiller. Painkiller is actually serving as a deterrent, throwing out a couple of bullets there and putting them out of range of Smurf and the rest of the team. A couple of bullets are hitting onto Product Envy, but this is going to cause Truly Trippin to stop on the bridge and figure out, okay, what's going on, who do we have to take shots at, and how can we progress forward? Is
Painkiller just kind of like his own little bridge troll there? I think he's on his own, isn't he? I don't see anyone else from his squad there. Yeah, he's on his own little bridge troll.
Sometimes you just have to secure those points for kills yourself. So post up right next to the bridge and kill anybody that comes across. He's sitting on Scar himself, so he can do some damage. You can see that he is looking around and coming off the bridge. Squad is posted up over here. Looks like they might be setting up some form of bridge camp as well, or they just don't feel safe. Yeah, they have their vehicles all posted up, looking multiple directions, trying to figure out how they're going to be pushed in on.
Envious Envy. I bet he's pretty annoyed that he's not on Envious.
There is a Product Envy and there is an Envy, and neither one are on Envious. It's kind of like the fact that we have several different people named Dre. I don't know why Dre is so popular in this. Naturally, we have Tempo Storm's your boy Dre, and then we have Sir Dre, just really, really popular.
Popular names, popular names. I think Painkiller's just mad because he hasn't got a scope. I think that's why he's setting up that bridge camp. They are actually getting caught out. The bridge camp is kind of getting backstabbed, I think it is. They were trying to be the bridge campers, and it's kind of backfired on them because they're getting shots in the back there.
Off in the distance, you can see Fig has managed to secure himself a boat and is just doing a hard push across the water. It's a very common strategy coming over there from Novo. So now it's all going to come down to what is Painkiller going to do from this point? He's kind of pincered himself in here. See that Fig is coming over. It looks like he might try to pick him up with the boat. But we do have a little bit of a skirmish that's happening straight up in the center of the map as a couple of shots being just thrown back and forth at each other. You can see that Nova is pushed up in their position, and we do have the next circle that is up and active. Really interesting to see where this is going to be placed at and how these squads are going to have to move.
Here comes Jay all day. He's going to join the rest of his squad, so Nova fully geared up and ready. And then the other squad down here, Silly Fall and Co. also set up. So, as you say, where's the next circle? There's the bridge camp. Where is the next circle? That's what we're looking for, to see exactly where it's going to collect into. It was obviously over in this southwest area. We're not seeing it here. These guys look like they're outside of the circle, so it's definitely moved north, and they are just inside. So it's just shifted down, and Milta very much in the center. So Nova pretty comfortable right now. There's a hill behind them, decent hill area as well. Product Envy taking shots. Fignaldo has joined Painkiller as well on this bridge, so he's come over the bridge now, and they're actually going to camp the campers.
Hey, if it works, it works. They have a nice set of control here. See that they were rotating between grenades. They have a solid angle coming out. And are we finally starting to see the people from outside of bunkers start to push down and forward? I think it's just, again, everybody's just trying to do a little bit of attrition damage right now. I think that a lot of people don't appreciate how much attrition becomes a big factor inside of PUBG. Really burning off these meds, burning down armor, knocking off some helmets, and oh, look at this. We do see two squads that are landed pretty close to each other inside a farm. And farm is a very interesting place for you to have a fight, specifically when multiple squads are posted up in there. Vamp taking a lot of damage as they're coming up and pushing near Envy, trying to see who that is that posted up in their buildings, but Caden taking a lot of return damage.
Yeah, this is not working out so well for them. Going to be interesting to see how the kills continue through this one. We've only really seen one big scoring round, actually. In the finals area, that was the best of 5, of course. That's going to be coming later on tonight. This is the first round of 3 for the 4 groups. The top 5 will be making their way through. Master Nook taking shots with the Mini 14, takes down LeBurn as the mass migration starts, as everybody rotates in towards to find themselves the best complex possible in and around this area as we continue the bridge camp.
At this point, I don't even think that Fig or Painkiller have taken too many shots recently. Oh, do we finally have somebody pushing into Nova's base? Yes, it looks like they were thinking about it. A couple of bullets coming out. They have actually jumped out of the vehicle and are now doing a hard push into there. Lots of damage coming out. You can see Swisher actually getting a kill onto him, or at least a knockdown. Human does get a knockdown as well. So it's all about how can they push back out and around.
How hard is that, right? They go into Nova's complex and they get help with the complex to the other side. So they think, oh, it's all right, we've got to back to these guys that are in the buildings. Nope, nope, there's another squad behind you taking shots and securing the kills.
With as much damage as these guys have been trying to do to each other, you'd think that Silly, Fool, Inhuman, I'm Your Friend guy would just be like, no, you guys crash in there, take care of them. We don't want to deal with them anymore. But we do see that Dirt is really low on life, trying to make his way through that section over there, looking for some type of push. See, Chronix is actually just driving off in the distance, Rogue making the push around. That hill that's back behind Nova is really, really influential. We can see that different squads will play it specifically differently because that's over there next to the lumberyard. And a lot of squads really don't like to push into the lumberyard unless they absolutely have to.
So, okay, shots. And that's the same guys just firing at each other over and over. Okay, they're going to try and camp out. Oh, this is not looking good for the people inside the building. The grenade comes through. And there's going to be the push. Whoa, he just threw a grenade in. His teammate just pushed in. That's a bit dangerous. Careful, lads. I'm Austin's about to go down. He's trying to hide between the office. Oh my god, he got Zurich down. Well, that was a mistake by Zurich. Yeah, I think he just expected him to be in that back building, which I kind of guess you were, but you've got to clear the rooms before you pass in.
See, Ferg's going to be throwing out some grenades there, trying to get Molotov cocktails out. Going to be feeding information back over, but based off the position where Ash is, he's got a little plastic back over there. So it should be fine, but here comes the hard push now. I really like this angled reposition. You can see Cool Breeze is going to be the person that's pushing up. Well, maybe not. And the other guy had repositioned back to look through the window, so the moment that Austin tried to lean out, he was just going to eat bullets from 2 different locations. But looks like trying to just throw some grenades up there. Ferg is going to be the person aggressing in. Maybe just taking his friend's loot.
Yeah, I don't know where he'd just been, but to carry 3 mollies is quite impressive. And not many people carry that. Oh, just spotted. Did he try and switch out with the grenade? I don't know if he switched in time. Is he going to get back away? And the headshot comes in. The nade just bounces off. It did bounce off the wall. Nearly hit himself there, Ferg.
So we're at 63 people alive. Circle is pushing back in. You can see that it's pretty standard. I do want to point out another squad. We talked about how Envy always goes towards Georgia Pool. You can see that Rogue is pretty much posted up around Melta Power. It seems to be one of their favorite places to play around. You have some crates that are dropping in now, but really in a bad spot. Nobody's going to go after one on the beach. Painkiller still holding up around that bridge camp. You can see Vexel and everybody. At this point, I'm kind of curious if they've just unmuted and they're talking to each other, being like, hey guys, how are you guys doing? Anybody coming up behind you? No? Okay, well there's nobody back behind us, so like, just have a nice little casual conversation.
Well, I hate to say, but I believe that's illegal. You can't do that. Who would do that in a game, really?
No comms in the game allowed?
I don't think so. I don't think so. You can't have 2 teams talking to each other because they could collude. They could collude. So the next circle's about to come in. Everybody's really in pretty static positions. There was a couple of shots between Minty Fresh and Caden, I believe, in the farm. They've both got themselves a little complex set up in that farm area. But the next circle is about to be upon us.
Here we go. We're coming back over here. You can see that Envy is positioned up. Did they lose one of their members inside of that skirmish? Because there was only 2 there. Either with that or one of them retreated back and away.
Well, the circle is cut down. I think I just caught a glimpse of it. It was across the farm, so which means it's pulled away from Milter. So everybody that was on the Milter side, I think, is going to have to rotate over.
A nice aerial view to see how everybody is positioned up here. See all the colors going out and around. And oh, finally we see somebody pushing up towards Fig and Painkiller. Damage coming out. And look at this. Hytrax is coming up back behind him. Fig's going to have to make sure that he's holding that angle, not letting him push forward. And a nice vehicle explosion coming out. Painkiller securing that kill.
Hitrek's gonna try the nades. Fignaldo's just watching. It doesn't land. That was pretty close to Painkiller. That was pretty close. And the tables have turned. The bridge campers become the campees.
Well, you can tell that they really want to move off of this bridge. But even if they do push forward, there is still the further bridge camp that's back along the corner behind Painkiller. So this squad that's posted up is in a world of hurt. But the circle keeps favoring them, so nothing really has to change here. Everybody just kind of has to continue to live on the bridge and right next to the bridge.
Oh, let's not have a bridge finish here. That would be horrific, wouldn't it?
Well, at least we have people already positioned for it.
But there'd be so many in the water. There's so many bee in that water. But look at it. Look at this rotation. Everybody piling down now. Nova going to have to get the move on there. Actually, I tell you, I think they're just on the edge of the circle. Donny Debonair, though, blasting in.
Durr is still alive on top of the Nova squads. You see the fact that he still managed to survive. We saw him several minutes ago. He managed to push in. He lost multiple squad members. But somehow he's still hiding out on the first floor, it looked like.
Conroy. This is over in the complex to the south of Farm.
Here, doing a little bit of a lookout. We are now on the further side of this. 62 people alive, and this is a tiny circle. So much water in here. Not a lot of people actually opting into the water as of yet, so it's all going to be about how people kind of choose to find where they want to play in here. Remember, there are quite a few buildings in the southern area, so you can see that while it is a pretty rowdy neighborhood, everybody does have their own little territory that they can control.
Yeah, I just saw Rogue, actually. Remember, they were in Milta Power, so they've managed to come along into Milta. The edge of Milta is still in there. We can see, obviously, on your screens there, a bunch of them. Look on the right-hand side where the crate is. That is Rogue sat there. Donny Debonair, little shots there. Caden still in the farm. That's Envious right now. Nova on the edge. Who else do we have in here I should be looking for? Envy, I can see them coming in. That's Corn Shookers then are coming in on the left circle. There's Rogue. So Rogue themselves a kill, it seems like. Can't see who's down, but either way, all 4 members of Rogue still standing.
And that was Not Hacking Guy TV. So if anything, he's living up to his name, Not Hacking Guy, just getting taken down very early. So you know that he's not hacking. So kudos to him for that. Nice for him to let everybody know. So it's all about how these next couple of positions are going to come through. 60 people up and active. We're seeing a lot of little bitty skirmishes, but nobody really dying. Not even a lot of knockdowns. I think it's, again, it's first round, so everybody's just trying to play safe. I say that as tons of bullets are flying over here at Corn Shuckers. They still have their vehicles up, and it looks like their tires are still protected, but that UAZ is smoking and very dangerous.
Oh, one nade would have hit a lot there. Luckily, there was no one in the apartment complex next to them. There is a squad that are moving over to the left-hand side. You can see Omaha and co. And I'm pretty sure they're going to flank down that direction. There's not really anywhere else they can do. Look in the ocean. There's one single player in the beach back there behind this little farm complex to the south near the beach. So I don't know what sort of part he's playing in this one. Oh, Monopoly, he's in trouble. They've ditched the UAZ in the water, and they are going to play it out. I hate to say it, Matcham, but we kind of knew this was coming, didn't we? We kind of knew this water play would be in effect.
It was going to be a big part of this. You can see a couple of reses are going to come out. Nice positioning from the UAZ, but can only res one person at a time, so one of them is taken down. This is really, really bad for DNA. They've got to figure out how they're going to make some type of landfall, or they're just going to opt into just going in the water. Yep, they've just said, okay, it's too strong. Rogue's over there. We're just going to have to pull back out.
Aladdin just got another knock there. That's Rogue getting another kill, it seems. That's Kasaiku going down. Oh, look at this circle. That's going to push him off the bridge at last and push him out of the down water. And they're going to have to move up to farm where Envious are bang central of the circle.
This seems to be a thing that tends to happen. Somehow Envy always tends to pick the right spot. It's one of the jokes about their team name, which was High Ground before getting signed. They always seem to be in that exact right position. So a lot of little firefights happening as 59 people up and alive. Everybody's moving through. This is the movement phase, so we're going to see a lot of little fights happening as people are trying to find somewhere to go. Mobius just runs right up next to Envy's building, but gets shot on the outside of that.
Just saw Caden get a kill, so Envious picking one up. You can see them on your screen here. I think somebody maybe pushed up on them. I'm not too sure. Keeping my eye on the kill feed. Swisher has just been knocked. And that was the squad that Nova have been opposite for the entirety of this time. Look at them. They're finally making the moves. They're trying to get in the vehicles, and they're getting shot from the back and the front.
So many squads up around that northern area. You can see I'm a friend guy. Finally got a knockdown and kill onto Swisher. So here comes the rest of the push. Nova is in a pretty awkward spot right now. How are they going to get out of this? And remember, they still have Dur that's out and around them at this whole time.
Keep your eye on that kill feed. I just saw Soltec moving in. Yeah, they moved straight in onto Envious. Rogue and Envious clashing. Win taking down Aladdin. Aladdin goes down. I can see Soltec down, so that's Rogue losing members. While Nova are getting pinned. Oh, that grenade just bounced off the tree somewhere. I don't know where the hell that went, but it was not in the building, that's for sure, as Heisen tries to push in.
5 seconds before the circle forces everybody to move about another 100 meters. This fight is actually kind of forcing everybody to stay where they're at. This could be really, really bad. And we come back over here. We're with Tfue, and it looks like Soltec is down.
Rogue, yeah.
I can't tell if he's down or kneeling. Yeah, and it looks like D-Master's going to do a hard push out here. Tfue is trying to get the res. Well, not even in the same spot for Chronix. Chronix is just going to go down. This is going to be real hard for them to fight their way out of. A lot of damage coming on to Tfue, and that is going to be Rogue taken down.
Nice work, D-Master doing good stuff with Smurf. So, Rogue, they tried the hard aggressive push. They went past, I think it was. You can see Envious there. I thought they went into that building, but they went into the next complex along. Nova were get engaged. I think the Corn Shookers are getting shot at right now. There's another squad you can just see on the mini-map in the bottom left-hand corner. So much action going on. This is the crazy period. 48 alive, the circle getting small. Nova having to make the move.
They're going to be pushing right next to another squad. Can they potentially find any form of safety? You can see that actually this squad is looking in an entirely different direction, taking shots over towards Painkiller and Fig. Hey, these things happen. And look at this. Nova is actually opting into going right into these guard towers, but they are surrounded from both sides. There's not a lot of area to play in, and this is not inside of circles, so this is going to be really interesting. All these squads are going to have to reposition again. Nova has just really been forced to play edge this whole time.
So Masnoke, Fignaldo going down. Look at that circle. Envious still in it on the farm. Nova just on the edge of it, or they were, as they tried to push it around, and they're in a real tough situation right now. They're just hugging these concrete bollards effectively. There's 3 squads, one on either side of them right now.
But they're all holding each other down. Nobody really moving. Mushu off of the back does get knocked down, as well as Drunken Noodles. Reinforcements are starting to come up, and it's going to be Stu Padusu, like he's trying to find an angle, and does find it onto Locknarb. Gets the knockdown on it, so now it's Nerf Me Please and just Jay all day.
Jay all day. Vamp's going to get a peek across the side there. Cool Breeze shooting on elusive. Everybody moves into the farm. Envious just sitting pretty right now. The Corn Shookers down south. They need to get moving. There is, what, 2-3 squads between them and the circle, so it's going to get very angry at the south side of the circle, but Nova's still sitting in out here. Here goes Jay all day. He's going to try and get around the side. He's going to get Lucknow back up. Lucknow's going to crawl in there, while Apocalypse Now's vision is torn north. So this is the danger, obviously. While you can put a lot of damage on the squad that's next to you, suddenly you start getting shot from another angle, and then you have to put duck, and you could have had a simple cleanup, but it's not going to work out for them.
But this is the problem. They're still in this fight. It's 20 seconds before the circle starts closing. There are so many squads not in safety yet. There's going to be so much tick damage coming out. Everybody's going to have to be firing while running. Going to make it really hard for everybody to push out and through. As you can see, Apocalypse Now is just trying to step forward, just eating bullet after bullet, just trying to make it over the circle. You can see at the minimap, there's so many lines coming his way. Bullets are just whizzing around him.
Apocalypse Now trying to push on up, and look at this. Look at the movement. Look at the rotations from the south. This is going to get ugly. That's the Corn Shookers moving in. They're running straight into the back of a squad. Corn Shookers taking shots left, right, and center as we try and pin across there. It's Envy, Paradox, and Zampo. That's the Corn Shookers. Insomnia off the side. They're going to push down. It is going to be the one man behind the tree. That should be the squad wipe. No. Yellow Buzz TV and Omar, they have a teammate still alive somewhere, but it doesn't matter. Paradox is just cleaning them out anyway. Caden taking shots. D-Master goes down. Minty Fresh taking shots. That's the other squad that's in the farm. It is all blasting off right now.
We were at like 50 people, and now we're down to 25. About half casualties coming out. Envy does manage to actually come up and crash into that building right next to Blake Cake, and he's barely alive over there. Everybody's having to position out and around, and again, you can see that Envious is just... I think Player Unknown just absolutely loves them. But that being said, you're still seeing they're doing such a great job of holding and defending this location. People keep trying to push into them. It's not just about having a spot inside the circle. It's about making sure you hold it and you don't let anybody get near you. And they're doing such a good job of that right now.
Locknob finally goes down. I think Nova down to 1 man. I think that's all they have left. Envy did manage to survive for the Corn Shookers. Ooh, look at that. Jay all day. He's going to have one creep up on him. How did he not get the kill on H-Win? I tell a lie, it was Apocalypse Now that was there, and it's H-Win that shot him in the butt. So it wasn't the man we were looking at. So 17 left. Look at the circle. Envious just have prime position, don't they say? Brendan, let's get Brendan on the phone. We'll have words, player unknown, what is going on here? These guys have the circle all the time.
But look at this. We can see Pride XD is actually in a very interesting spot. He's right along the walls on a nearby building system. So he can actually just play inside that wall, still be encircled because he's kind of by himself. Speaking of being by himself, look at this. We actually do have Apocalypse Now positioned right next to another squad. You can see that they were pushing up towards them. Coming back over with Ferg. He's kind of stuck living the shack life. 5 seconds before the circle pushes in, 17 people alive. We're going to see a lot of people dying as they're going to have to push across these open fields right into multiple kill lanes.
Yeah, so, okay, so, I mean, at the moment, Envious have been so lucky with the circle being in perfect position. They did move into this position very early on, so they've been here for a long time. Jesse taking the shots, and look at this. There's about 2 or 3 squads now moving in as they pass on by. Jesse taking the shots onto Inhuman as he tries to pass through the rocks. He's got himself into a little wooden shack. It doesn't really offer a great deal of protection. You can shoot through that.
And everybody that is on the outside of that blue circle is just taking so much damage. Swerz is trying to make his way in. Inhuman's trying to come in. Look at this, a fight with Win. He's just running straight up next to Caden. You have several people that are down. Well, actually, one person that's down on Envy right now. Grenade's going to come out. Is it going to connect with Caden? Or pull back out and see. I think he's going to be able to make it back around the corner. Yeah, he should be fine. So Huen does manage to make it onto landfall here. 13 people. I thought we were going to see a lot more deaths inside of that. But there are a couple of people bleeding out, so we'll at least see probably 1 or 2.
Well, they do manage to get their 3rd man back up. So Envy back up to 3 members. I can see Frexus just outside. So they've pushed right up on the complex. Look at H-Win just lying prone next to the complex that they're in. The Blake Cake, look at him. Look at that. He's using the absolute perfect position in that garage to just not get spotted.
Just nice awareness. Remember, this isn't first person, so he's having to make sure that he's playing this wall against where he thinks that they're standing at. So that's really solid positioning, all things considered. Now we're going to have to see a little bit of a push from several of these squads. I think it's going to be really rough over here for Blake. He's going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Uh-oh.
He's been spotted. You can see that Vamped did see him. Saw a little bit of the backpack sticking out. And yep, that was all she wrote for Blake.
Sanatic pushes out. Envy still sticking around the corner, remember, that other side of that wall. Circle now moving. 12 seconds. They have to be in there, and this is still looking good for these guys. Vamped is going to get in. This will be the other side of that. I don't think he can duck through. He will do. Sanatic. Jesse, they still have H-Win and Swirls. Look at Swirls out on the edge there. He needs to move in, but it's Envy that are on the move.
They are moving forward. And look at this. Nobody's taking shots at them as they push across. Swerz is making his way over to there, but I say that. See, Pride XD has gone down. Swerz is trying to make his way through there, trying to get back behind that tree, and actually managing to survive, and a little bitty dip over there. Meanwhile, we're back over here with Envy that they're just kind of looking forward. I think it's predominantly right now a 3v3 is the big part of this. As you can see, Minty Fresh, Vamp, their 3-man squad going up against Envy. Caden just managed to secure the kill onto Swirls. So here we go. 3v3 all around the warehouse of all places.
I know this is 3v3, but Corn Shuckers have managed to make the top 3 despite having just that 1 man alive, and that just shows how Envy is playing this one very well. I know it's going to get tricky, Envy and Envious, but Envy is playing this very well. He's happy to let these 2 squads fight it out, and he may even just be able to tuck himself in the win. Caden's keeping an eye on the back here. He knows that Envy's back here is somewhere. The warehouse, Minty Fresh and Vamp and Sanatic have now pushed inside there. Next circle is right inside the warehouse. We're going Counter-Strike style. We're gonna be breaching this warehouse, I feel. Let's have a look, Caden.
It should be noted that Caden actually does not have a helmet right now. But speaking of breaches, that's one of the things that North America is starting to be known for. They have some very solid tactics whenever it comes into building takes. So really interesting to see how they're going to play around it. We'll start to see a little bit of the circle collapse in now.
The Vector for Frexus, very good close range. Not something I'd expect to see people hanging on to at this late stage, but Frexus, that could come into play. Obviously, assault rifles, Scar Ls and AKMs in this building. No helmet on Minty Fresh, I think I just got a glimpse of as well there, looking through the X-ray. Where's Envy going to go? He's going to... oh, he's died outside the play zone. Oh, my God. Well, 3rd place, he's happy with that.
Hey, he managed to survive for quite a while. There were several different points that he should have been taken down, and I think that we are at the final circle point now. We saw one of these earlier today, What's going to end up happening is 1 point is going to be selected, and it's going to have the entirety of the blue collapse down to here. A couple of shots going back and forth. Naturally, both squads know where they're at. They can hear the pitter-patter of little feet going back in different directions. But I think it's all going to come down to, does the next circle really show up inside the warehouse area and force Envy to push forward, or are we going to have to see Minty Fresh and the rest of his team push back out and around?
I think Jesse's maybe thinking it's a baseball pitcher or something. I don't know why he's trying to pitch those grenades off. I think he wants to bounce them off the warehouse wall and right back. I'm not sure he's going to throw them that hard, but he's pushing up. He's on the barrels. Now, they're both in this really tight situation. A 3-on-3, this close range. I think the AKM of Jesse is in a good position because I think they're going to have to push out. I'm just trying to see the final circle. It gets so small, it's so hot, hard to spot with so many circles showing.
Yeah, once you get down on that mini-map, there's too many people up and alive. It's going to be hard to see where it does populate and see that. That seems to be what everybody is waiting for now. You have to think about it. This is one of those moments. Sure, these guys have played tons of games. They're very familiar with it, but you have to have those nerves at this point. You know you're playing to qualify for Oakland right now. You have to be patient. You have to go, okay, don't push this until I just have to.
Did Minty Fresh just find that shotgun on the floor? Is that an S12? Is that there? Or did Minty Fresh just pick up that shotgun? I think he may have just picked up a shotgun in the warehouse. If so, that's very clever. Vamp's going to peek around. Jesse's going to take his head off. Can't finish him off. Minty Fresh peeks around as well. Straight away gets in there. Sonatic peeks around. He gets down. And now there's just one man standing. They have to try and push him out. Minty Fresh, he's on absolutely nothing. Caden was taken low as well. Phyrexis doesn't really want to risk this. Those grenades being bounced off the lip of the door. And he's going to try and get one of his teammates up.
Caden's actually going for the push, trying to find the angle on it. Smokes are actually blocking all of his vision. Frex is coming around. There's one down on top of it. This is a solid, aggressive push coming out from here, but he does get down.
Oh, you absolutely whiffed the shots. Frexis gets down as well. Jesse's going to push him, but it's a one-on-one. Minty Fresh manages to get the shots, comes out with the shotgun, finishes off one, goes for the reload. He could finish his right now in the smoke as he tries to push him around. Jesse, he doesn't know where he is. Minty Fresh has completely flanked him. He's going to get the side shot, and Jesse goes down. Envious gets second place in the end. Really well played by Minty Fresh.
With netting 5 kills out of that, we can see that 9 kills altogether for Minty Fresh, Vamped, Tyler GG, and Sanic. With following that up, we can see that it's going to be Caden, Frex, Jesse Lowell, and Check Shooter coming in second place. Really solid performance from all the squads coming out inside of this round. We talked about this. This is pretty much a group of death. Everybody inside of here is so strong.
Amazing game. That's what we like to see. And as you mentioned, a lot of top squads in there. Cornshuckers, they got third place after all. You know, Envy managed to just grind it out. Envious, though, they're going to be kicking themselves. They had that, honestly, I would say positional advantage. It was those that chose to breach. And when you got 3 players all just stuck in that one corner, you've got to feel you're going to come out on top. But no, Minty Fresh had other ideas.
Well, they got the knockdown. They felt that they were strong enough. They were like, okay, it's a 3v2 now. Let's try to push for this. And whenever they tried to push in, they just got a touch outshot on that angle. You could see that a couple of bullets reflected off of the outer wall of that barn instead of connecting onto the body. That's the problem whenever you're trying to play the aggressor there. Sometimes your aim can go just a little bit wide. That being said, second place, not the worst way to start this off. Specifically, both those squads netting a lot of kills. So really excited to see what's going to be happening inside this group as we move through. Remember, we are at a best of 3. Or what we got? We're not calling them best of 3, just 3s. We're going to 3 rounds as it goes through. And we're going to see who qualifies for the 5 rounds after this.
Well, we'll be back after the break, guys. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be the second area of round 2. Second area, there you go. That's I put a whole new name on it. It'll be me and Matt Trim. We'll be back in a few.